Hello and welcome to the Fiona Small Show. My name is Fiona Small and I am back again with another amazing guest who is based in the USA, all the way in Atlanta. I have Sasha Mercedes. How you doing,
Hello.
Sasha? Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello, hello.
How you doing? It's
I'm
such a
good.
pleasure to have you on, and I'm so glad that we made this happen because I think I need to share this with our viewers. So check when you were coming on the last time we had that social media blackout. Who actually thought that it would have impacted like YouTube,
Yeah,
StreamYard, and other platforms? I thought it was just Instagram. So when we were like connecting, even though we had a nice little catch up, I was thinking, it just goes to show how reliant we are on this digital stuff because literally
absolutely.
everything went down. And
Yeah,
because normally, because this streams to different platforms, it was like everything shut off. So I'm
yeah.
just glad we made it happen. You're back again. Social media didn't stop us. So
Not
welcome
at
to the
all.
show. You, my darling, introduce yourself and tell us all about you.
Well, my name is Sasha. Well, everybody calls me Sasha Mercedes. My real name is Sasha Johnson. I'm a licensed counselor here in Alabama. I serve now Georgia, Alabama, New York. Oh, goodness. I have some people in Illinois, Texas, just all over the place in the United States. A radio host here in Atlanta at Power 108.9. My show is called Klymax Sessions with Sasha. I also am an author of now 4 books and 1 journal,
Wow.
single mother,
4 books.
all kind of stuff. I have produced a
Amazing.
few shows, and I've now been in my own show as an actor, and well, not my own show, but I've been in someone else's show as an actor. So it's been a lot going on, right?
Going on. So take me back. Let's go back to the counselor because I think one thing that I love about the time that we're living in now, everybody is on this healing journey. And I think we've all recognized that each and every single one of us needs some form of therapeutic intervention or some form of, counseling service where we can just talk and unpack our stuff. Talk to us about your journey of how you embarked on becoming a counselor and why you would recommend counseling.
Well, I decided to be a counselor really because of personal reasons.
Yes.
My mother was suffering with some mental illness
Yeah.
at one point, and I don't think I truly understood what she was going through. And then
Yes.
as you're growing up, not necessarily with my mom, but with people around, you would hear them say, "Something ain't right with him," or they would
Yeah.
say "ain't" because I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, the
Yeah.
country, and they say, "Something ain't right with him." He's something ain't right.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what the ain't right was. Nobody
Yeah.
knew what was going
Wow.
on. And I just got tired of that. I got tired of I've never been a person that likes to judge the outside without knowing what's going on the
Yeah.
inside. So
Yes.
I decided to go in this field after trying many other things, but decided that
Mhm.
this is what I need. I always like to help people, but
Yes.
didn't know what direction I wanted to go in with it. So decided to go down this route, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I would
Amazing.
change some of the experiences because it's traumatizing, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I guess it's also my growth and it helps me to be a stronger therapist.
Wow. So it's come from a personal space, lived experiences, and also you just having a passion and desire to help others. That's so
Yes.
beautiful because, oftentimes when we've experienced our own, stuff, whether it be good, bad, or ugly, not all the time you want to do something to help, but the sheer fact that you're just kind of repurposing that and then giving back to others, that's amazing. So would you say that through your kind of journey, and kind of allowing for people to feel free to express and expose, what are some of the challenges that have come up against, and why would you advise? Because therapy is something that I always say to people, it's something you need to be ready to embark on. If you're going on this therapeutic journey, it definitely needs to be, you have to understand that you're going to be opening a can of worms. And I think some of us are not ready to open these can of worms. And if we've not identified that they exist, let's keep it real. Some people think they're absolutely fine.
Yeah.
You think
Everybody,
you're the
for the
problem.
most part, they come to you at first.
Yeah, yeah, they think you're the problem. So it's about recognizing, I could probably do with some help here and there's some assistance. What would you say should be like the first step on embarking on that journey?
I think the first step actually is figuring out what your boundaries are. A lot of people want to step into
Yeah.
either being a therapist or gaining therapy, and
Mhm.
they don't really truly understand what place they're in, or accept the position they're in currently.
Yeah.
So, from the perspective of a client or a patient coming in to seek therapy, I say fill it out a little bit, understand what you're comfortable with before you
Yeah.
go and seek a therapist. That's the first
Yeah.
thing, because people
Yeah.
have preferences. People have things that they're comfortable with and things that they
Yeah.
know that they're not comfortable with. So I think
That's
that that is one thing that we have to definitely consider. Honestly, you have people come in that they prefer a woman
yeah.
because they may have had bad experiences with a man, or they
Yeah.
prefer a man, or they prefer someone that's black or white or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think you have to really sit down and think about what are you dealing with, what are the
Yes.
perspectives that you're seeking to get help with, and then kind of go
Mhm.
from there. Now, from the side of becoming a therapist, I say understand what boundaries you have and what things that you feel like you just
You're right.
flat out can't work with. I
Yeah.
say that first. What can't you work with first?
Wow. That's
Yeah,
very important. Yeah.
yeah. People think they can work with everybody, but I know for a fact I can't work with someone that I know for a fact is a pedophile.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
you've got your boundaries. Yeah, you
yeah,
draw your line. Yeah, that's not who you
that's
and
your
it's I love what you said when you said knowing what your boundaries are, you know, that there's certain individuals that you will not be, able to support because it's just not within your kind of value system. But equally when you said actually know the type of therapist that you're looking for, because like you said, some people may want a female, some people want maybe for cultural reasons they want a black therapist because there is some form of kind of understanding of sometimes the upbringing and the culture and the way that there's things that we can talk about when we were children and we'd be like, yeah, it's a black thing, yeah, black parents do that, whereas sometimes if you're not kind of culturally attuned to things, it's very different to you. So I like what you've said, and those are really interesting pointers for anyone, so anybody that is watching and those that will be watching on the replay, just to let you know that if it is something that you have considered, as Sasha has just mentioned, definitely kind of think about, one, are you ready? What it is that you're expecting from it, and what type of therapist do you think will be suitable for you? Because that is really, really fundamentally important. So thank you for that, Sasha. So
welcome.
moving on a little bit. So the author, let's go into that space because you just rolled off your tongue. Yeah, I've written 4 books. Like, hello, I'm only on just one, and that was a struggle to get it out. So tell me how you have written 4 books. Tell us the titles and the inspiration behind them.
So the first book I wrote, I've had this concept, and I don't know it was the best concept ever, but it was this concept that I would come as a clinician and write a book with someone who is not necessarily doesn't have the educational background, but they have the
Yeah.
experience. And so I
Mm,
wanted me to write it from a clinician standpoint, and them to
yeah.
write it from the standpoint of a person that has experienced loved ones that are dealing with mental health. So it's called Dealing with Loved Ones That Are Suffering with Mental Health.
Yes.
But it's two different perspectives in the book. So we wrote that first. That's actually before the book that you got. And if I be quite honest, I have a book before that I never promote about self-care.
Wow.
And I had done it was an ebook, and I was
Yeah.
looking over here. I was trying to see if my book was next to me so I could have showed it to you guys. But yeah, I had done an ebook first because I was trying to figure out do I want to write?
Mm,
And it was like 4 pages, if I be honest. But it was a self-care guide. They say that's the quickest and best thing to do is to put like an ebook out at first. So at first
absolutely.
I was just trying to get a book out. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
You
for
want
that
to be an author.
yeah, yeah. For that second one, dealing with the loved ones that are suffering with mental illness, I was like,
Mm,
oh man, this gonna be the one. This gonna be the one. It wasn't the one. It was not the one. I thought I had to do books with people
yeah.
to write. I felt like I couldn't do it by myself.
Yes.
Then I started hitting it on the neck. I hit it on the head. With
Yeah.
It's a losing battle, but I won. My most sold book since I've
Yeah.
started writing was that book, and
Yeah.
it's because I put my own life into it.
Yeah.
I was scared to write that book. I was scared to. First of
Mm,
all, I didn't think I could do it by myself. Second of all, I didn't know if I had time, and thirdly, I didn't think I was gonna make it through it trying to write about some of my challenges. And
yeah.
then you got to turn around and read it like 4 times,
Yeah.
4 or 5
Yeah.
times.
Proofread it. Yeah.
Yeah. but I did it. I
You
made
did
it through it, and it was
it.
the most sold book that I've ever had since I've
It's
read.
fantastic. But the title of it, "It's a Losing Battle, But I Won." I purchased that book, and I must say, your transparency, your openness, the way that you articulated your story, you kept it real and 100. And what most people are looking for nowadays is relatability. Like, a lot of people, they want to skim past the kind of the pain part, and they're just focused on purpose. But we know when it comes to pain to purpose, a lot of where we're at now, it comes from that point where it's like what you've done by documenting that is saying, I'm not going to forget this. And those that are in similar situations, or maybe embarking on maybe situations that you have experienced, they can look at that and think, wow, if Sasha can make her way out of this and become the woman that she is today, then I can do it too. So what you've done is you've set an amazing example, you're paving the way, and you're also leaving an amazing, beautiful legacy for your children. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I agree. I think that, and I appreciate you saying that. It has been a journey. I thought I was going to stop after that book, and then since then, I've literally noticed that I've been writing books like every year.
Wow.
And the one I came out with this year, I wanted to talk less about pain and more about being grateful for pain. So
Wow.
the book was called Our Bodies Thirst for Love, Freedom, and Gratitude, because I feel like we weren't taught to be grateful to ourselves. We are so caught up in teaching our kids to say thank you to someone else. But when do we say thank you to you? Say thank you
True.
to yourself. And how
Yeah.
can you truly love yourself and feel free within yourself if you don't say thank you? Thank
Yeah.
you, Sasha, for loving you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sasha, for going through the pain and making through. Thank you, Sasha, for pushing on and making it to whatever it is that you desire to have. And
Yeah.
so
And not
I said,
tolerate it.
I, look, we had to do this thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And not, you see, sometimes we've got to also recognize that the choices that were made and also the tolerance, because I think there comes a line that we all have to draw, like you said, boundaries. And I think once you've established what they are, and I think that comes with an element of maturity, an element of knowing oneself and self discovery and knowing what you're worth, because not everybody kind of understands their self-worth straight away. Let's put that out there.
That's
Some people think this is the best that I can get, or, it depends on what your experience or what you've normalized or what you've been exposed to. Some of us are dealing with, childhood things where people have sown some really nasty things that a lot of people's kind of belief mechanisms have been birthed off of those early years of what people have sown into them. So trying to break those down and changing mindset, that comes as a process. That comes as what you're feeding yourself, who are you around, what are you believing. A lot of us have to take a whole self-discovery journey to kind of master oneself. And once you've arrived at that place, it's like, hang on a minute, I am not gonna tolerate nothing. So where
Mhm.
you're at now, maybe, there might be some women who are a little bit few steps behind, but just by you setting those examples and being that beacon of light, a lot of people don't realize that, we that are in the forefront and are doing things, the examples that we're setting for others, they're like, wow, if they can do it, I surely can too. So this is why what I love about having amazing guests, especially from all across the world on the show, because everyone comes with their own unique story, their journey, but what they've done with it. I mean, it's just amazing, Sasha. Like, I listen to you and I think you're just phenomenal. I mean, on top of it, you're doing your PhD.
Well,
Let's like
you're,
kind of
look, you're phenomenal. Shoot. Let me say that first.
thank you. Thank you, darling. No, I tell you, real identifies real, darling. And you on your PhD right now, yeah?
Yes.
Talk to us about that because I'm loving it.
Whew, Lord, this PhD, I think is going to just put me out. But
Well,
anyways, so
well
I've
done.
done all of the coursework.
Hmm.
I am now, I'm taking a little break. I'll start back up in January with the
Yes.
comps exam and then following my dissertation.
Okay.
I needed a little break because I
Yeah.
got too much going on right now.
Mhm.
But during the break, what I'm doing is just taking time. I've already did what they call a dissertation research plan. So
Yeah.
I'm just continuing to take time to work on it. And then when it's time to do this compass exam, knock it out the park, like home running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get to the dissertation. And hopefully by the time I get to the dissertation, which should be around March, I
Yes.
can pretty much just submit, is what I'm hoping, is that I can pretty much submit.
Yeah. Well done. Because, and I like what you've said. You've said you've decided to take a break. So taking a break is a good thing, because
Yeah.
you don't want to burn out and you want to get your head into gear, into focus to do what you're doing. You've got your because I know you had your reality show and then
Yes.
also your radio show. So talk to us a bit about that. Tell us more detail about that. What's that about?
So the reality show is called Boss Ladies of Atlanta. And
Ooh.
I decided to do this show and I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into. I'm sorry. I hope I can say hell.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. I didn't know how difficult it was to work with women. And it's crazy because I've worked with women so much, but black women, we can be
Hard.
a little bit difficult on each other.
Mm.
And everybody wants to be an Indian, but don't realize that there's only one chief,
Yeah.
and so it was a lot of that going on. Of course, we were able to get some of that dialogue. What I really loved about all of the women was that they all were striving to be better at whatever their craft was. Whether
Wonderful.
we had one, she was a counselor, but she also had her own t-shirt business. You had
Yes.
another that was doing her own marketing business. And then you
Mm.
had another that was a singer. You had one that
Uh,
was a social worker. You had me. And
yeah.
I feel like I'm missing. Am I missing? And then you had another one that was a life coach. And I just
Wow.
kind of felt like all of these powerful women should be able to come together
Yes.
despite what they have going on and work together. And,
Mm.
it worked okay, but it was very challenging. So I learned a lot about filming, the entertainment industry, and about Black women.
Yeah.
I'm a Black woman, but yeah, I learned some new things. And
Yeah.
I just think that what I did learn about is that I don't want to give up on Black women.
No.
I
Good for you.
want us, yeah, keep
Mm.
pushing, and you tell them what you got to tell them. It's a teaching and learning curve. You can't keep them
Yes.
all like in your circle, but you
Yeah.
don't let them leave without telling them what's going on either.
That's right.
And so
Yeah.
that's what I tried to do.
The vision was to really bring people together. And I suppose, like you rightly identified, when you think about all those personalities, all those bosses around one table, all of that, it must have been a thing where when you thought about it, you were like, how is this going to work? But like you said, there was too many, and there can only be real when it comes to leadership. Like there's
Yes.
one person driving this ship. Too many people, it won't work. So, what would you say was your biggest learning, and in terms of how you were able to manage it, because you wrote it, you directed it, you got the film, you got the set, you got the crew. I mean, that's a lot to do. And when you think about reality TV nowadays, it is something that's become very popular. A lot of like industries that started off as testing, and then they got commissioned, and then they were on Prime or Netflix, like it always starts with somebody initiating like yourself and say, right, ladies, I want to pull you guys together, this is the vision. How
Yeah.
did you what would you say you wanted to do with that, and what's the plan going forward with it, because it's still a
So
beautiful concept?
right now, you're gonna start seeing some great promotion because I finally got some finalizations going on where we should be able to view it and actually
Excellent.
put it out for the world to see finally. So I'm working on the premiere party and everything now. I am very man, I almost just want to break down and just ooh,
Yeah,
because I'm
it's a
just
lot.
so happy it came to this point. And I
Yeah.
think for me, it's the fact that I don't think that the team completely believed that it was going to happen. But
Wow.
I want to show them to believe. You have to believe in yourself and you have to believe in the craft, and you can't look down on scenarios. So what I learned about it was that first thing is you can't always bring people in that everybody can't be friends
Yeah.
oftentimes. And that's okay. We got to understand that it's business. And just because we're business partners doesn't mean that we can't build together, we
Mm.
can't support each other. but that doesn't mean we got to be homegirls and go hang out together, or
Mhm.
it's got to be a boundary set
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
because it causes issues.
Yes.
And I learned that I was too nice,
Oh.
and that it made me so much stronger. I was too nice and I wasn't setting enough boundaries. So I've been told that I need to do a second round of it. So I'm thinking about it. And I
Yeah.
will not be a cast member because I was told that I allowed the cast members to have too much access to me. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to, I don't
Be
know.
part of it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's also your baby. You think about something that you were testing the water with, you saw the vision, and why not? I mean, look at people like Tyler Perry. He's in almost every one of his movies,
Yes.
like, come on, let's keep it real. So if you wanted to be part of the cast, that's absolutely fine. But what I love with what you're saying is the learning
Yeah.
along the way. And you got to realize, especially in this game of leadership, being a boss, running businesses, and also managing people, you learn something about yourself every single day. Every time you do a project, you think about, actually, what could I have done differently? What could I have done better? How much access and who needs to be, the point of call. I mean, even with me, I'm in the restructuring now with the way that I'm going to be operating as a boss, only because there's certain things like yourself that I've noticed about my own, probably areas that I need to sharpen up on, and how best am I going to function and operate so that I don't feel overwhelmed and bogged down and all the responsibility on my shoulders. So it's all of that is just such a great learning, because
Yes.
not only have you not given up, you've used all of that experience for the first, call it a pilot, to now say, yeah, I know this, I know what I need to do differently, I know who I'm going to bring on, I know exactly how it's going to work out. So that's amazing. That's a
Absolutely.
credit. You put that in the bag as experience, because everything we do in life, even if it doesn't quite work the way we wanted it to, we all have to put it down to experiences in every
Exactly.
lesson. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank-
So
I
the
think
radio show,
Oh,
go on.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, go ahead. You were going to say.
I was gonna say, I think that what you just said was just the icing on the cake. I learned, man.
Mm,
I didn't stop. Thank goodness. I now have a talk show that will be out
yay.
soon. I did a promo for it as well, and I think that
Mm,
it's just, and doing a comedian skits, and now I'm about to partner with a celebrity comedian and do some
ooh,
um,
well
big stuff. I can't give too much, but we're about to do
done.
some big things. And shout out to Mr. Patrick.
Well
But I'm
done.
super excited to
Mm,
bring together African community and the African American community and do
wow.
that project. And I just think that a lot of time, what I've learned is that you have to show people
Hmm.
and yourself that you can do it. Sometimes you get involved with people that are around you and you feel the energy that they don't
Yeah.
believe in you.
No.
They
True.
they they want you to fail.
Yeah.
So you have to remove those energies from around you, as hard as it may be.
Yeah.
Go ahead and move forward and say, I still love you all the way over there, 10,000 miles
That's
away.
right.
Stay where you at. I
Yeah.
love you though, but I
Yeah.
can't have that energy around me.
No, love them from a distance is what I say. And the thing is, you see, one of the things when you're in tune as well, your intuition and that discernment that you have, that gut feeling. I always say to people, trust your instincts, trust your guts, because you know what, they will not fail you. And you always have, you like you said, the energy. You see, when you've got pure energy and good vibes around you, because it just flows. It's effortless. You
Yes.
don't be second guessing and questioning. But anything that you're thinking, I might not need to tell this person that, or I can't, that's too much work. You
Yeah.
got things to be doing, that takes up way
Absolutely.
too much headspace, way too much headspace. So you just got to wish them well, keep it moving, and yeah, just keep progressing. And that's what you're doing. I love it. I love it, love it. You're a woman of my own heart, darling.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
with your radio show, tell us about that, because I know that your talk show has been something, and your radio show has been something that is, you've got your guests on there, the conversations that you have. Talk to us a bit about that, and then we're going to move on to Sister Second Chance.
Okay, so my talk show, Klymax Sessions with Sasha,
Mm.
it started off and I did not want to do it. I'm gonna just tell you, okay? I
Mm.
used to do a show called The G Spot with my business partner. Shout out to Ashley Robinson. I love you, sister.
Mm.
I used to have that with her. We decided to dissolve that, and she's now working at a station in Montgomery, and I'm still in Atlanta. And I said, okay, what is it that everybody needs?
Mm.
And I said climax because I like those sexual words for some reason.
Climax.
Climax, what does it really mean? To reach
Yeah.
a peak, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
to reach your peak in your mental
Mm.
health, to reach your peak in your love life, to reach a peak in your
Mm.
business life, to reach a peak in whatever it is that you want is what I thought. Hey, Klymax Sessions with
Yeah.
me, you
Yeah.
know. So I decided to do that. We focus on mental health. We focus
Mhm.
on business owners that are not getting enough attention. We focus on love. We focus on sex because it doesn't get enough attention. People like to stay away from that conversation, but I don't care. We
Yeah.
focus on the things that people are afraid to talk
Mhm.
about.
Talk about, yeah.
And on top of that, I've been able to bring in a few people like some of the old DJs from back in the day that we might have almost forgot about. I've had DJ Jelly, who was like a legend to Atlanta. I've
Right.
brought Dondria, who is a singer from, I think she was like around 2000s, early 2000s, had a hit. And not that she's been forgotten, but she deserves it. She's a beautiful spirit,
Yeah.
beautiful voice. She deserves all the attention. So I was
One.
able to bring her on. Vigilante, he's an amazing artist as well. And I was able to bring some of these amazing artists that people need to have more exposure to.
Good.
Um, and
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say that they don't have the exposure. People need to be exposed to
Mm.
them because
Yeah.
these are some amazing people. So I just feel like this growth. I recently had Royce Morgan. You should look him up.
Okay.
He's off the chain. He's a
Yeah.
speaker. He's doing his thing, and I just think that it's gave me this platform to be connected with so many people. Even when I'm going out and networking for the radio, even if we're not on the air, I'm
Yeah.
going out and I'm meeting some of the local celebrities and some of the local business owners and some of the local clinicians in the area that I wouldn't have never met if I hadn't had the radio to tell me I need to go out and network for the radio, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing.
But that's fantastic. And you're such a social person anyway. So it must have just been easy for you to just kind of get your guests on and like you said, you want to get the world to be exposed to them as well because you respect their hustle. You know where they're coming from. You're like, listen, I want to put you on the platform and put you on the map. That's amazing.
But
So
it's not easy.
it's not. It's not.
It's really not.
It's not.
People think you want something when you're just trying to help them.
Yeah, you're trying, I know. And this is the thing when you have, because you think about, you've also got your non-for-profit, you're a counselor, you're also an author, you're a mother, right? You do a lot of things, and with your talk show and also the radio show, having kind of like such a wide skill set of multiple things, it takes a lot of energy, but it takes a certain individual to be able to juggle that. I often get told, gosh, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you, but anything that you're passionate about and anything that you're gifted and skilled in doing, you are going to find a way of getting it done regardless. And
Exactly.
what isn't it? I mean, I find it ironic when people say, "Oh, how do you?" And it's not so much, I enjoy it. What I do, I enjoy. I do it for the love of it. So it's
Exactly.
interesting what you said when you said it's not easy. Is because sometimes some people can make it feel like it's heavier than what it is when it's actually sometimes the attitude towards it is just the wrong attitude. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. And I think you know what I get sick of?
Mm.
And I had someone do it to me this past weekend. It's discouraging. And
Yeah.
and that didn't mean no harm, but I know it
Mm.
discourages me.
Yes.
Is you need to slow down. You're doing too much. You need to focus on one thing. All of that, I don't need that. That's the wrong energy for me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need you to say, you can do it. Take a
Yeah.
moment, you can do it. It's the
That's
way you say it. It's
yeah.
not that the person didn't love me that said it. They loved me and they cared about me. But sometimes what you say, the type
Yeah.
of person I am, it
Mm.
discourages me. And
Yeah.
it'll have me saying, well, maybe I do need to take a break for a week. Then here I am that lost all this money looking crazy. Looking, you know, or I'm upset with myself because I done lost the energy that I once had because
Yeah.
I love you so much and what you said meant so much to me that it
Yeah.
discouraged me. So
Yeah.
I have to say real quick, no, I
Mm.
don't need to slow down. No,
No.
I don't need to. Maybe I can pause, breathe, and keep it going, but I
That's
got to do what I got to do. And no,
that's
I don't need to stop and focus on one thing because
Mhm.
I'm already focusing on one thing. And what everybody fails to realize about my platform is everything from the radio to the Sisters Take a Chance to
It's all
counseling. I am
entwined.
helping
And
people.
people, yeah. And it's all, the synergy is all there. That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's all, they all work in tangent. And what I'm also recognizing, I love what you said, is slowing down doesn't mean that you have to just stop. Slowing down could mean, actually, I'm not going to go into office this morning. I'm going to work from my bed with
Yeah.
my headscarf and my PJs. That was me
I do
today. That was me today. But guess what? I still was able to accomplish what I needed to do. My son and my children, they were both fed. My son got his activities that he needed to, like, it didn't stop me. I just needed to kind of shift the way that I was working. Instead of getting up and dressing up and doing what I'd normally do, I thought, you know what, let me take it easy for a bit. I even had an afternoon nap. I'll be honest with you. I took a little snooze
good.
and I felt so good. I woke up like, whoa, I needed that. It's probably about an hour and a half, but it was just a power nap. Sometimes you just need to power up. So,
Mhm.
like you said, just slowing down doesn't mean stopping and pausing and shutting
Right.
everything down. It just means being a bit kinder to you, whether it even means, you know what, I'm going to start giving myself relaxation baths, massages once a month, a treat to the weekend. What I did on Friday is I booked myself into this hotel just to have some me time. I dated myself. I booked a reservation in the restaurant, had dinner, stayed in there, checked myself out Saturday morning, had breakfast in the hotel, and I felt really good. Like some people think, oh my gosh, I can't believe you do that by yourself. I'm like,
I
that's
love it by myself.
I love it. I really do, especially us as, like I said, high performing individuals who work with people daily, manage people daily, run our households daily, manage children. Do you know, there's a lot to say. If you do take that little pause and just deal with you, treat you how you know you deserve to be treated, especially with the hard work that you're doing, do it unapologetically, I say, because it's so
Absolutely.
needed. It's so needed.
I
You
am
know,
like so with you. So you're right. People do not like, they don't. I never forget. I told my friend, she called me one time and she said, "What
mm,
you doing?"
mm,
I'm at dinner. Oh, who you at dinner with? Myself.
yeah,
Don't go to dinner by yourself. If you want to go to dinner, call me. No.
I know. I want to
I'm
be
like,
by
you don't
myself.
have to talk to anybody. I can sit here, listen to the music or whatever they got going on and do me.
Mhm. That's right.
And and that's fine. I don't have to consume what you're talking about. I don't have to
Mm,
consume anything if I don't want to.
yeah,
I could just sit here by myself. And it's so funny. I was just telling my sons earlier about I need to use these points with Hyatt, this hotel over here.
yeah,
And all I could think to myself was maybe I just need to get me a hotel room at the Hyatt by myself
that's right.
and call it. And that's what I was thinking about doing because
Yeah,
we're going on a trip. We go on trips. I try to do self-care days and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I think I need that. I think I need
yeah,
me a hotel room just away from
yeah,
the house because all I do
yes.
is clean at the house.
Yes, right. And that's the case. You do feel like actually just a change of scene, not under pressure to wash any dishes or wash any clothes or think about dinner, just doing you, being in a nice room. Because one of the things I love about when you go to a hotel, everything is just spick and span. You come in, you drop your bags down. Normally I'll just go in, have a shower, get myself ready, put on my PJs and just snug up, see what's on the telly, just have like a lounge in time. And if you want to order room service, you order room service. If you want to go down to the restaurant and eat, you go down and eat. It was just nice. And I think, like you said, if we're not careful, we feel that we have to be, even in our personal time, these social animals that we already are. We are socialized into a whole. When I sometimes look at my calendar, and I mean, last week was a really heavy week for me, and I really needed to do that. And that Friday, like I said, it was very fun, spontaneous. It wasn't actually planned. But what I loved about it, when I woke up in the morning, I thought, you know what, that was a good shout for me to do that. Because if not, then I go back into the same flow in the week again and feeling a bit like, no, you need to have some balance in this thing. If you're out here serving others, we got to serve ourselves too. you
Yes,
know we got to we
absolutely.
got to prioritize ourselves. And I love what you've said, Sasha, about just taking that time to take a little defer of your PhD. You're picking it, when you're picking it back up, you've got other stuff that you're working on, you construct to yourself. So what I'd like you to also share is, as you know, I know with Sister Second Chance, tell us a bit about that. But equally, I know probably those that will watch on the replay and those that are watching now probably think, oh my gosh, these women, they really do a lot. Like the women who might feel really stuck or even intimidated by women like us or women like you, who they think, oh my gosh, I could never be like her. Where would I start? Or they might feel a bit overwhelmed. I want you to think about giving some kind of real tangible pointers, because oftentimes I know that people really overthink. But before we start on that, tell us a bit about Sister Second Chance and how that came about.
So out of everything I've told y'all, Sister Second Chance is my baby. That
Mm,
is my baby. Sister Second Chance was created when I was broke. Like I had nothing. I don't even know what I was thinking about, you know. It was 2014. I was in a really challenged part of my life. And I realized that I felt like I had no support, even though I had some support from
mm,
my parents and everything. I just felt as a single mom because my ex-husband is not in their life. He doesn't give any child support.
yeah.
They've only seen them. They can count on their fingers how many times they've seen them.
Wow.
And I think for me, I just felt like even though I had my parents, it wasn't the type of support I needed. And
Yes.
and not no problem with them. Shout out to them. But it
Mm,
was just like, parents think they know exactly what to tell you to do.
mm,
That's not what I needed.
yes.
I needed some type of support where they actually really felt me, really understood me, really could relate to what I had going on. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I bet you there's other people that feel like this. So I started real small with Sister Second Chance. The first year, I did what I call a turkey giving event. We do it annually,
Oh, wow.
and we give out food to the community. We started partnering with a church in Montgomery at first, and we would go to the people's houses, drop off a turkey, 2 sides of large cans, cornmeal, milk, eggs, everything they need to do the Thanksgiving dinner.
Mm.
Since then, as of last year in November, we fed 100 families.
Oh,
In December, we no wait, I think 50 in November, December 100, and then January again 100.
wow.
And I think I got the numbers right. If I'm lying a little bit with the numbers, I'm sorry, but it's close to that.
Yes, yes.
And we started off with maybe 25. We started off not being able to do a lot. Last year, we may have paid a total of almost say maybe $4,000 to $5,000 in people's utility bills. When we started off, maybe paying 1,000.
What?
Yeah, we started off with no grants, where last year we probably got $40,000 in grant money. So
Well done.
it was just a baby that I just
Mm.
raised. And
Yeah.
I've now, believe it or not, I started with single moms. And as a single mother, I found that I've running into so many single dads. So this
Uh,
year, and we skip in November, we're doing December, and we're feeding families, but we're also going to give gifts, Amazon gifts
yes.
to fathers, single fathers, and single mothers,
Wow.
because it's not just single moms anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that we keep focusing so much on women, but the
Mm,
foundation is broken, and we
yes,
got to support these men too. And
definitely.
if we want our kings to get right,
Mhm.
we need to create foundations for them too. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing a problem, and when I see a problem, I want to be a resource, one
You
of them.
fix it.
So
Amazing.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
second chance. It's amazing. We need some help though. We are now, I'm thinking about reworking things a bit. I'm gonna start the mentorship program back up.
Yes.
I'm actually was gonna reach out to you. I'm seeking not only some ambassadors, but more people that's more stronger on the board. Not saying I don't have a strong board, but I
Yeah.
think the board I have gets tired. So
Yeah.
I need more. I need more
Yeah.
people, and people that have
The passion. Yeah.
impact.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. We can definitely talk about that. I mean, I love what you're saying, and I do fully agree with you with regards to, the men also need to feel that they have a place, that they are visible and they're heard and they're there, because
Yeah,
it's oftentimes, as you know, because it does seem that mothers will be the main, especially over here, single mothers will be the main caregivers that have their children. That's where a lot of the focus and emphasis is. And even with my organization, Young Mum Support Network, all our projects and stuff that we run, it's targeted at mums, and we do get the mums that come along. And when we do have the odd dad come along, it's really quite funny because they feel so out of place. So we try and make them feel as welcome as possible to say, look, we won't bite, you're welcome to come in. But it's really good for also them to know that they have their spaces to talk and to share and to feel listened to and understood. And as you rightly said, the foundation is broken. How on earth are we going to fix this if we
Yes,
don't start with, some form of interventions and getting the communication right? It's really
absolutely.
important. So
And
it's,
last night, I wanted to tell you, I went and
yeah,
spoke. I was on a panel, should I say, at
yeah,
a place in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm actually back in Atlanta now, but I
yeah.
was there for, it was called Resiliency, the nonprofit.
Right.
And they talked about domestic violence and dealing with past trauma. And at first, it started about women. And
Mm,
then, we kind of went over to what about the men?
yeah,
And so now what that made me realize is I want to have a whole forum, a whole virtual conference where we bring men and women in to focus on what is domestic violence like for men.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
because we're not doing enough for them, honestly.
Wow, it's so true, and it's so unheard of. We know it's out, it does exist, but it's not that spoken of, and it's more centered around women and the focus on women about the domestic violence. And it's interesting because it's very topical over here at the moment, especially during COVID. We know that domestic violence went up, and a lot of situations. I mean, that's how, when we think about the conference that you did last year, which is how we met. Remember, you got a big up social media, because that's, you think about when we did your virtual conference last year, and the panelists that were on there and everybody talking about experiences. And then I was sharing like the stats over here, and I mean, since then it's really increased. So it's very much on the spotlight at the moment. It's very topical over here because there's a lot of stuff happening within that sector. And I think what we want to also do as women, as mothers who are raising our children alone, is to really represent, because it's not about the bitterness or who's not doing what they should be doing. It's really about working with what we got and showing others how to kind of raise these children. Sometimes we're dealt different cards in life. That's one of the things I'm getting to recognize. And it's all about, okay, I've been given this card that I've been dealt. Now how am I going to play the game of life? Do you know what I mean? Now what do I do? Do I woe is me and worry about who's not there and worry about what other people should be doing and they're not doing it? Or do we just kind of say, right, let's build a network. Let's find other women to empower, and not even just other women, other men, because we need role models for our boys as well. I've got, as you know, a son and a daughter. And I think there's a lot of learning that we all need to do, Sasha, around
Yes.
our attitude towards things, the situations that have occurred in our life, how, the taking responsibility as well. One of the things I think that helps me a lot is I do take ownership of stuff. I don't play victim. I do know that, situations could have been managed a lot better, but it's all about how do we now better
Yes.
ourselves, so the generation that we're now raising, we can show them actually they can manage conflict situations. If relationships don't work out, this is the way that we approach it. And if we continue with showcasing dysfunctionality and drama, and what does the next generation see and know? I mean, we see already that they've exposed to so much online. We have a responsibility as parents and as the community that we position them in and we raise them in, to do better by them. So it's really, really powerful to hear what you're doing with Sister Second Chance, feeding families, helping them, giving them tools, showing them that, with the right support around them, life can get better and
Yes.
life improve. So, I salute you, my sister. I really do. I think it's amazing. It really is. And it's a credit to know that with all that you've been through in life, you've put it in books, you've got workshops, you're feeding families. That's, come on now. You should feel really proud of yourself.
I just want to do, and you know what? I'm proud of myself, and I have to teach myself gratitude a lot. But
Mm.
when I tell you, I feel like I still am. I feel like I think that's what God made me in a special way, because I still don't feel like I do enough.
Yeah, you're just
That's
getting started. I know. You know what it is the vision is big. Even for me, like when I look at the stuff that's happening with the business, the team that's growing, the new opportunities that are coming through the door, and I'm like, there's still more to be done.
yeah,
There's still
yeah.
more to be done. You know
So
that
much,
there's
so
more.
much. And so I
Yeah,
think that's what it is for me. I don't know when it's gonna be enough for me. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. Maybe when I'm not able to see so much, but I just
yeah.
there's so much. I mean, we're in that. We're trying to take over, not take over, but handle Atlanta and Montgomery now. And next, I want to go to Houston. I want to go to Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
some real messed up stuff when I went to Texas. They have what is it called, Tent City?
Yes.
Have you heard of Tent City?
I haven't. I'll look it up though.
Okay, Tent City is like a community of homeless people.
Oh,
And they have signs where they're almost like banning them from being homeless and being on the street. Almost like they can get in trouble. Not like they are. They can get in trouble for being homeless and on the street, living on the street.
wow.
Yeah. So I think it's total bullshit.
Yeah, it's need. There's need. And that's the thing. When you identify where the needs lie and you want to do something about it, and you've got that passion and that drive to say, this ain't right. This is what social action is about. This is what being a social entrepreneur is about. This is what having a heart for communities is about as well.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of what we do, and I always say this, is we've just kind of poured back into people because people have either given us that helping hand and we've just stretched back out our hand to kind of help others as well. So, Sasha, just keep doing what you're doing. I want you to now just share where people can reach you, where they can access your book, anything that you've got coming up, all of your social handles. Share with us where you're at, and people can follow you, they can buy your books, and just keep track on what you're doing. Follow you on TikTok. Your videos are amazing. You are hilarious. So
Okay.
share with us all of your handles.
Now with TikTok, I have to find the handle for you guys because I don't know nothing about how to share no handle on TikTok. I think it's Sasha Mercedes on there, like on every other platform. I think it's Sasha Mercedes with I think two S's on TikTok.
Okay.
Most of them on every platform is Sasha Mercedes with two or three S's behind it because somebody stole my name. Um,
Oh.
so I'm just kidding, but Sasha Mercedes, and then I have to explain this because Mercedes has an S on the end, so just
Yeah.
add an additional two that makes three at the end. So
Okay.
and then on Twitter to have two at the end, and then Facebook. So everywhere you go, if you go to my website sashamercedes.org, it's got all of Facebook, social media, and all that on there. You just click on it, take you straight to it.
Lovely. And your book is available on Amazon?
It's available on Amazon. You can also go to my website and order. And when I have them in stock, I actually autograph them and send them out. But
Lovely.
if you're in the UK, go to Amazon. Don't
Amazon. Okay.
make it easier for me. Go to
Yeah,
Amazon.
make it
If you're in
easier.
the UK, go overseas anywhere, please go to Amazon. Okay.
Amazon. Okay. And you can put in your name and everything will come up. On Instagram, you are
Instagram, Sasha Mercedes with three S's. You actually can Google me. If you Google Sasha Mercedes or Sasha Johnson LPC, I should come up in some form on there. My businesses are registered on there as well.
yeah.
So
Excellent. And I'll be sharing this as well because this will be on YouTube, on the E360 and Amazon. So we are Amazon Firefox as well. So we are going to be, sharing this. I am so glad that we made it happen. It is a pleasure talking to you, my dear. You are doing amazing. Just keep
thank
going. Keep going.
you.
I'm looking
I am.
forward to seeing what we can do together in time and just, working it together so that we can make things happen, leave that legacy, help others, and continue to just blaze that trail because that's what we got to do. It's
Yes,
about when
absolutely.
you found your purpose and your calling, that is it. You are operating in your purpose, you are operating in your calling. Nothing can stop you. What is for
Thank
you is for you.
thank you.
So, on that note, I want to say a big thank you to those who are watching. For those that will be watching on the replay, this is the Fiona Small Show. I will be back again with another guest. Today, I had the amazing Sasha Mercedes. Go follow her. check out all her social handles, purchase her book, support her, and give her some encouragement as well. So I will be back soon. Have a great one, Sasha. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Whatever field that is in, stick with it. Immerse yourself in it. One of my mentors told me, master your brief. And when he said master your brief, I was thinking, what do you mean master my brief? And what I did was I really have done that. I've mastered my brief to the extent where I can quote stats, I can quote this, I can draw for reports and journals, and we've done focus groups on this, that and the other. And then now people are like, whoa, okay, she knows that exactly what she's talking about because I had to master my brief.
Most definitely. You got it.